Hello and welcome to Nightline. I'm Brendan Wong. The headlines. Police GIACC agree on need to set up IPCMC. And US hits China with tariff rise as trade war escalates. Good morning. The National Governance, Integrity and Anti-Corruption Centre, GIACC, is positive the Independent Police Complaints and Misconduct Commission, IPCMC, will be established this year. Its Director General, Tan Sri Abu Qasim Mohamad, said this after GIACC and the police came to an agreement on setting up the commission at a special meeting on Friday. Tan Sri Abu Qasim said the discussion had yielded positive feedback from the representatives of the Police Association, Federal Police Integrity and Standard Compliance Department JIPS, as well as Inspector General of Police Datuk Sri Abdul Hamid Badur.
Sebenarnya IPCMC ini tidak melebihi peranannya sebagai pihak berkuasa tata tertib. Dia tidak ada kuasa mendakwa bagi kes jenayah atau kes lain daripada tata tertib. Pihak Jabatan JIP ataupun apa dipanggil Jabatan Integriti dan Pematuhan Standard dan Pematuhan Standard Polis masih lagi berperanan untuk menjalankan siasatan.
Tan Sri Abu Qasim said, however, several adjustments had to be made to the proposed IPCMC bill based on concerns raised by the police before it is finalised and brought to the Cabinet for approval prior to being tabled in Parliament. Abu Qasim said the amendment bill would likely be brought before the Cabinet after Hari Raya Aidilfitri. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Abdul Hamid said police were satisfied with the explanation provided by GIACC and commended the centre for its willingness to allow two-way discussions.
Sebaliknya, IPCMC memberikan banyak peluang kepada PDRM. Banyak ruang dan peluang kepada PDRM dan tidak sekali-sekali menghakiskan, menghilangkan kuasa yang ada kepada PDRM.
The Sedition Act 1948 is expected to be abolished this year. Law Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Liew Vui Keong, said the government had decided in a cabinet meeting for the act to be abolished and was currently looking into various factors in its implementation. Datuk Liew said after the abolition of the act, a new formula would be introduced to replace it.
I, together with the Menteri Jabatan Perdana Menteri in charge of Unity, and also Senator Watir, together with Dr. Mujahid, and also together with Minister Gobindio, to look into a new formulas to deal with this abolition of the Sedition Act, to have a new act to replace it. Or alternatively, we will place it under the penal code, certain sections that involve the defamation or the penghinaan terhadap raja-raja.
Datuk Liew said the Pakatan Harapan government does not actually mind people criticizing it, as constructive criticism can help the nation and the party progress and develop. However, the government would not allow anyone to defame the rulers and national leaders. Meanwhile, Liew said the government is also looking into the possibility of introducing anti-stalking laws as the behaviour has become a trend. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said community divisiveness can be avoided if religious teachings are appreciated and practiced in the real sense. Citing an example, the Prime Minister said things that are prohibited by Islam continue to occur within the Muslim community because religion was used for political and personal gains.
Dahulu orang Melayu ini adalah orang yang bernasib baik kerana mereka adalah orang Islam yang mengikut ajaran Sunni pimpinan Imam Syafi'i. Sepatutnya tidak ada perpecahan di kalangan kita kerana fahaman yang berlainan seperti yang terdapat di banyak negara-negara lain. Malangnya hari ini kerana kepentingan-kepentingan lain, kepentingan politik umpamanya, menyebabkan kita berpecah dan kita tidak lagi menjadi kuat kerana apabila kita berpecah maka kita tetap akan menjadi lemah. Jadi pada bulan puasa ini kita harus ingat juga bahawa berpuasa bermakna melatih diri mengawal nafsu. Kita perlu latih diri kita dan kawal nafsu kita bukan saja pada bulan puasa. Anggap bulan puasa ini sebagai latihan untuk hidup lebih patuh kepada ajaran Islam. Dan apabila tamat bulan puasa pun kita harus kekalkan sifat.
Tun Dr. Mahathir said this in his speech at the Malaysian Islamic Welfare Organisation Perkim's Iftar gathering with the Prime Minister in Bangi, Selangor on Friday night. He said practicing the true Islamic teaching is important so as to ensure that Muslims are looked at with dignity and honour by society, especially by the non-Muslim communities. Water supply disruption following 3 main pipe bursts near Banting Taiping West Coast Expressway in Klang, Selangor is expected to be resolved by Sunday. Air Selangor, in a statement on Friday, said 69% of water supply in 65 affected areas has been restored, and efforts are being made to restore the remaining 31% by Sunday at the latest. It said the company will continue to mobilize its water tankers to the affected areas and continue the operations at its service centers at Bandar Sultan Sulaiman, Bandar Parkland, Bandar Sri Andalas and Batu Belah. It was also installing new pipelines to divert the water from its original position. Almost 90 areas in the Klang district was hit by unscheduled water disruption since last Sunday after 3 main pipes on the expressway project site burst. The Ministry of Finance has refunded 17.1 billion ringgit of goods and services tax, GST, and income tax for this year until April the 30th. Its Minister Lim Guan Eng said this consisted 5.2 billion ringgit in income tax refunds to company cases and 2.4 billion ringgit of non-company cases by the Inland Revenue Board, while 9.5 billion ringgit GST refunds by the Royal Malaysian Customs Department went to 76,000 GST registrants as of April 30th, 2019. In a statement, he said the disbursement of tax refunds is expected to generate a positive impact for businesses in Malaysia and contribute towards economic growth. He said 16 billion ringgit of the refund came from Petronas' 30 billion ringgit one-off special dividend to be used for repaying the GST and income tax refunds of 37 billion ringgit this year, as announced in the 2019 budget last year. He added that this one-off special dividend from Petronas is paid to the government in stages, and the payment of tax refunds to the taxpayers commenced in January. On to the Sandakan by-election. 3 of the 5 candidates vying for the Sandakan parliamentary seat will exercise their right to vote in the by-election on Saturday. DAP's Vivian Wong Shi-yi is scheduled to cast a vote at SK Muhibah. Independent candidates Sulaiman Abdul Samad and Chia Siu Yung will cast their votes at Yu Yuan Secondary School and SK Sungai Anip 1 polling centres respectively. It is learnt that Parti Bersatu Sabah candidate Datuk Linda Chen Daolin and independent hopeful Hamzah Abdullah will not vote as they are registered in the Batu Sapi constituency. On Saturday, 39,684 eligible voters in the Sandakan constituency are expected to exercise their right to choose their next Member of Parliament. Early voting on May the 7th saw a 75% turnout of 270 eligible voters. The Sandakan parliamentary seat fell vacant following the death of DAP Stephen Wong on March the 28th. In the 14th general election, Wong won with a majority of 10,098 votes against Barisan Nasional candidate Datuk Lim Ming Hu, who obtained 8,996 votes. The Selangor Palace has suspended the titles it had bestowed to both former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Najib Tun Razak and his wife Datin Sri Rosmah Mansor pending the outcome of their court cases. In a statement on Friday, Selangor State Secretary Datuk Muhammad Amin Ahmad Yahya said, The suspension, which was issued through a decree by the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, had been in effect since May the 6th. Datuk Sri Najib was conferred with the keahlian Darjah Kebesaran Sri Paduka Mahkota Selangor First Class, which carries the title Datuk Sri in 2004, and Darjah Kebesaran Datuk Paduka Mahkota Selangor Second Class, which carries the title Datuk in 1992. Datin Sri Rosma, meanwhile, was conferred the title Darjah Sri Paduka Mahkota Selangor First Class, which carries the title Datin Paduka Sri in 2005. Datuk Sri Najib and Datin Sri Rosma, however, still have numerous Datuk Sri titles from other states. An accident involving 4 vehicles in Jalan Jerantut Temerloh in Pahang on Friday killed 2 people and severely injured 3 others. In the incident, a Mitsubishi Triton driven by Ku Kun Liang allegedly tried to overtake another vehicle but ended up colliding with the Proton Exora and the Perodua Asia. Ku and the driver of the Proton Exora, Nur Razalina Abu Qasim, died on the spot. Meanwhile, Fatima Abdullah and her 2 children, Ruhasliana Muhammad Rani and Khalid, travelling in the Perodua Asia, was seriously injured and was sent to the Raub Hospital. In Putrajaya, Samira Muzaffar, who is accused of murdering her husband, Cradle Fund CEO Nazrin Hassan, has been denied bail again pending trial. Her application to be released on bail on September the 3rd this year was unanimously dismissed by a 3-member bench led by Justices Datuk Kamardin Hashim. The 44-year-old was charged along with 2 teenagers aged 14 and 17 and Indonesian Ika Wahyu Lestari under Section 302 of the Penal Code, read together with Section 34 of the same code, which carries the death sentence upon conviction. In Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, police believe they have managed to solve at least 20 cases of car and motorcycle thefts with the arrest of 5 suspects from 2 criminal gangs. 3 members of Gang Gatok were detained between April 25th and May the 2nd, which led to the recovery of 2 cars and 2 motorcycles. The second gang was busted on May the 6th after police intercepted a stolen car at a gas station in Kota Kinabalu at 11:30 p.m. in which 2 Filipino illegal immigrants were arrested. Police are still looking for 2 men, including the mastermind of one of the gangs. Over in Selangor, 2 men blew up an automatic teller machine ATM at Wisma Unicab Bangi but failed to make off with the money. Kajang District Police Chief ACP Ahmad Zafir Muhammad Yusuf said, based on CCTV recordings, the masked men were seen setting off 2 explosions on the machine within 3 minutes. However, they were forced to flee without taking anything when the alarm went off. Malaysia's largest integrated media group, Media Prima Berhad, MPB, recorded a net profit of 59 million ringgit in 2018, reversing a net loss of 669.7 million ringgit a year earlier. The media conglomerate raked in a total revenue of 1.2 billion ringgit for the period, which represents a marginal decline compared to 2017 amid tough economic conditions. Group Chairman Datuk Muhammad Nasir Ahmad in a statement on Friday said the financial performance was boosted by one-off net income items amounting to 159.7 million ringgit. He said the amount was mainly attributed to the gains on the sale of properties and disposal of an associate. Excluding the one-off items, MPB had narrowed the losses in 2018 by 42% against the comparable year. In the digital segment, MPB's revenue increased to 87.9 million ringgit against 41.5 million ringgit for the same period. It has reached a new milestone by becoming the top choice for mobile content in Malaysia ahead of Google and Facebook. MPB's home shopping segment, CJ Wow Shop, generated total sales of 213.1 million ringgit in 2018, a 65% increase from 129.5 million ringgit in 2017. Moving forward, the group said it will continue to invest more resources in key growth areas with the aim of attaining sustainable profitability. Coming up after the break, rare monkeypox virus infection case reported in Singapore. Stay tuned. Welcome back. U.S. President Donald Trump has said he is in absolutely no rush to finalize a trade agreement with China, hours after the U.S. more than doubled tariffs on many Chinese products. He said bilateral talks due to resume in Washington later on Friday were continuing in a very congenial way. The U.S. action, a sharp escalation of the country's damaging trade war, took tariffs on affected Chinese goods to 25% from 10%. China said it would retaliate. However, the ministry did not specify on how they would respond, and officials did not speak to reporters as they left the talks. Global stock markets have endured a week of extreme volatility prompted by uncertainty over the move. Reactions were also mixed on Friday. Singapore has reported its first ever case of monkeypox brought in by a Nigerian man thought to have contracted the rare virus by eating bushmeat at a wedding. The man had arrived alone on the 28th of April before developing symptoms 2 days later and is currently isolated at an infectious disease center and is in stable condition. Another 23 individuals who had been in close contact with the man have also been quarantined and will be monitored for 21 days. Previously, outside of Africa, human monkeypox cases had only been reported in the United States, Britain and Israel. It is not normally fatal, and transmission is usually via close contact with infected animals such as rodents and monkeys, and is limited between people. Over 1,000 handguns and rifles were found during a raid on a mansion at an upscale neighborhood in Los Angeles on Thursday. However, authorities have said that there was no indication that they have been used in crimes. According to officials, the weapons seized came from an anonymous tip that firearms were being illegally sold from the home. 30 law enforcement officers took more than 15 hours to clear the house and remove all weapons. Police have also, one person was arrested and is facing charges of unlawful transportation, giving and lending an assault weapon. Still to come, FA Cup, Pahang joined Kedah in last 4. Stay with us. Sports football, the 2019 FA Cup. 2 second-leg matches, quarter-final matches were played on Friday night. Kedah marched through to the semi-finals following a 4-2 aggregate win over PKNS FC despite being held 1-1 by PKNS in their second-leg clash. Also in the last 4 is Pahang. The Elephants came back from a first-leg 1-2 defeat to claim a 5-2 win on aggregate over Terengganu. We're going on a short break. When we return, Nightline's auto segment with Sabrina Zainal. And we're back with the auto segment. BMW has launched its latest 6 Series Gran Turismo at the end of last year, and it has been a hit among Beamers in Malaysia. The goal for this niche model is to marry long-distance comfort of a luxury sedan with the aesthetic appeal of a coupe. Sabrina Zainal got the chance to take the 630i GT for a test drive to personally feel the power it can generate behind the wheel.
Episode of Hot on Wheels, Nightline's auto segment. I'm Sabrina Zainal, and today we are going to be test driving the BMW 6 Gran Turismo. All thanks to BMW Malaysia, of course. And to test its capabilities and to explore more about what this car is all about, we are going to conquer the Karak Highway and go to Genting Highlands. Let's go! The 630i GT boasts stretched proportions, more dynamic lines, and a muscular surface treatment, making it sleeker compared to the 5 GT. In terms of size, it's a big car. It measures 5,091 millimeters long, 1,902 millimeters wide, and 1,538 millimeters tall. At the front, it has an expressive headlight design with eyebrows that arch towards the corners for a more assertive gaze. Beneath the arches are 20-inch M light alloy double-spoke 648M wheels. At the back, the 6 GT comes with 3-dimensional taillights and an integrated rear spoiler that rises at speeds over 110 kilometers per hour. The key highlight, though, is the sweeping down roofline that merges into the tail section. And with an 8-speed Steptronic automatic transmission, this powerful machine can go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 6.3 seconds, with a top speed of 250 kilometers per hour. So we are en route to Genting Highlands. We're actually going through all the winding roads right now uphill. And I should mention that this car has a 2.0 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine, which outputs 400 newton meters of torque and 258 horsepower. Inside the 630i GT, the ensemble is furnished with a leather dash, gloss chrome, and fine wood trims. Occupant space is second to none. The interior offers generous space, while the raised seating position ensures an excellent overview. Being a long-distance cruiser, the 3 full-sized seats at the rear offer ample legroom and headroom in spite of the lowered roofline, which is achieved by optimizing the seat system. Considering that I'm not a very tall person and I'm also a young lady, I usually don't opt for big cars such as this one, and the 630i GT is actually a big car. It's I think it's a little bit more than 5,000 millimeters long, and it's quite wide too. So for me, driving a big car, in my perspective, would be more difficult. But because this car's handling system is very good, it doesn't feel like you're driving a big car at all. So if you're someone like me, don't be afraid to try out big cars, because actually you're gonna, if it's as comfortable as this, it's gonna be no problem for you to drive around, honestly. People who are accustomed to driver assistance systems would always feel the difference in a car that doesn't have them. The BMW 630i GT has tons, from the lane departure warning to lane change warning to the active cruise control with stop and go function, which helps to keep a constant distance from the vehicle ahead at all times. Right, so we are now in sport mode, and I have to say the biggest noticeable difference is that the steering wheel has gotten a lot stiffer, and I think the car lowered itself, and that's to make it closer to the ground and increase the center of gravity so that it can improve the handling system. So if you're going through winding roads like in Genting Highlands, I think being in sport mode is probably the best, because it gives you a smoother driving experience, and the handling is a lot better as well. And considering that I'm not a very tall person, and I'm a young lady as well. So, you know, I usually don't opt for big cars, and this car is actually pretty big. It's, if I'm not mistaken, just a little bit over 5,000 millimeters long, and it's pretty wide as well. So, you know, if you're someone like me, don't be afraid to go for big cars, because if the handling system is this good, then you're not going to feel like you're driving a huge vehicle around. It's actually like pretty nice. It feels comfortable. Usually, honestly, I would always go for a hatchback or something small because senang nak parking and senang nak macam whatever. But this is like okay je.
Because of the technology.
Yeah, the technology helps a lot. The BMW 6 Series Gran Turismo is priced at an estimated 450,000 ringgit and comes with a 5-year unlimited mileage warranty with free scheduled service program and a 2-year tire warranty. Well, I managed to conquer Genting Highlands with this BMW 630i GT, and I am so happy with it actually, because the performance and the driving experience was just all really good. The handling system was really great, and you know, as I said before, a person my size driving a car this big, it didn't feel like it was something huge to take care of, you know, because the handling system was really good. And I was really impressed by the power and to top it off, the sound system. So that's all for today. See you next time on another episode of Hot on Wheels Nightline's Auto segment. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. See you next time.
And that auto segment wraps up Nightline this time around.